Thank you for listening to Scandinavian Crimes Podcast. Be sure to check out the episode links and be part of our other social media platforms where you can leave a topic suggestion or even share some of your insights regarding the subject matter of the episode. We'll always do our best to provide a well-researched episode, but sometimes due to limited access, translation issues, and inconsistent evidence between multiple sources, there can be information that's lost. It is therefore good to do your own research and get a deeper understanding of a case of your own interest. So with that all said, let's start today's episode.
Welcome to Scandinavian Crimes. My name's Devante, and say hello to my lovely co-host Delila.
Hi.
And on this podcast, we talk about famous Scandinavian criminals who made their mark throughout Scandinavian history. So welcome back to another episode. Before we get into the, brief description of the episode that we always give every episode, just be mindful. Like I said in the last episode, we do have a video for the discussion parts of the podcast on YouTube. So if you want to feel a little bit closer to us and bond and connect, feel free to check out the YouTube channel. Once again, Scandinavian Crimes Podcast on YouTube. And the last 4 episodes will have video, so you can kind of see the things that we're doing while we're discussing, just like kind of right now, Delilah's checking her teeth apparently. But that won't be recorded because, we only record the discussion sections. But just letting I know that's available if you want to connect with us a little bit more.
Why are you telling them that?
just a little fun, just a little connection, little vibe here, trying to make a little community bonding experience.
Sorry for trying.
But nonetheless, let's get into today's episode. It was a summer night in 1988, quiet, calm, and still, until gunshots shattered the silence in a small village of Åmsele, Sweden. What began as an attempted bicycle theft took a dark and irreversible turn. By dawn, 3 members of the Nilsson family laid murder at the village cemetery, leaving a peaceful community forever scarred. So, you already know I think every episode is interesting, so you already know what I'm about to say, right? Come on. Grab your tea, grab your snacks if you're on your way to work. Just tuck yourself into that nice little corner on the train or the bus and put your AirPods or your headphones on real tight. Because this is a story of the Åmsele murder. Sten, Eva, and Fredrik Nilsson were well-loved and respected family living in the tranquil village of Åmsele, located in northern Västerbotten County. Nestled along the Vendel River, Åmsele was known for its scenic beauty, strong community spirit, and the traditional Swedish rural lifestyle. Sten, in his 40s, worked as a civilian employee at the nearby Garnarn Air Force Base and was known in Åmsele as a kind, reliable man active in local organizations. His wife, Eva, 38, was the village hairdresser and a warm, familiar presence, loved for her friendliness and volunteer work with local sports clubs. Their 15-year-old son, Fredrik, was a bright, energetic student who loved football and the outdoors, remembered by classmates and teachers as polite and easy to like. The Nilssons were considered a model family, well-liked, engaged, and deeply rooted in the community. They lived in the modest but tiny house near the village center, not far from the cemetery where an unexpected tragedy would eventually occur. On the evening of July 3rd, 1988, 23-year-old Finnish drifter Johan Viel-Jakala and his 19-year-old girlfriend Marita Rundholm arrived at the quiet village of Åmsele. The pair had been drifting across northern Scandinavia, moving from town to town after a string of minor thefts. That night, their attention turned to 2 bicycles parked outside the Nilssons' family home. Johan, carrying a sawn-off shotgun, began tampering with the bikes, hoping to steal them. He didn't realize that someone inside the house had heard the noise. Fredrik, worried about the strange sounds, stepped outside to investigate. His father followed, thinking it was nothing serious. Almost immediately, Johan confronted them, raising the shotgun and ordered them toward the nearby cemetery, just a short distance from their front door in a secluded spot among the birch trees. He forced them to their knees and shot them each in the head at close range. Back inside, Eva grew uneasy when her husband and son failed to return. She went out to search, walking straight into a nightmare. At the cemetery, she found Johan standing over the lifeless bodies of Sten and Fredrik. In an instant, her world collapsed, and she became a witness Johan couldn't allow to live. Eva fought back, lunging for the shotgun in a desperate attempt to disarm him. A violent struggle followed. Johan shouted for Marita to help, and at his command, she stepped on the gun to force it from Eva's grasp. Moments later, Johan took the shotgun and fired the fatal shot that ended Eva's life. By the time the night gave way to early morning, Johan and Marita had vanished, leaving the Nilsson family dead and the cemetery transformed into a crime scene. Within hours of the bodies being discovered on the morning of July 4th, law enforcement from across Västerbotten County and beyond were mobilized. Investigators moved quickly, combing the village for clues. Residents soon came forward with reports of a young couple seen wandering the area the night before. The description of the man was unmistakable, a Finnish fugitive already known for petty crimes and bursts of violence. The suspicions quickly solidified. Fingerprints taken from Nilsson's family bicycles and nearby objects matched Johan. The murder weapon was traced to a theft in Finland and bore the same modifications used in robberies linked to him, leaving little doubt that the couple was behind the murder. As Swedish authorities pieced together the evidence and sequence of events, Johan and Marita had already crossed the border and were moving through southern Sweden by the time their identities were confirmed. An international manhunt was quickly launched in coordination with Interpol and police forces in Finland, Norway, and Denmark. Their escape ended 4 days later in Odense, Denmark, on July 7th, where they were apprehended by Danish police after being spotted in the central train station. Both were extradited to Sweden under tight security. Johan remained defiant during transport, reportedly offering little emotion or remorse. Once in custody, investigators faced the challenge of piecing together what had really happened from the couple's conflicting stories. During early interrogations, Johan admitted to the murders but quickly began altering details, attempting to deflect responsibility from certain actions and cloud the sequence of events. He described the shootings in a detached manner, offering shifting explanations that left investigators questioning his motives and state of mind. Marita, by contrast, portrayed herself as a passive onlooker. She insisted she had no control over Johan and claimed she was too frightened to intervene. Her statements emphasized fear and shock, painting a picture of someone trapped in a situation she could neither stop nor escape. Yet her account often contradicted Johan's version of events, forcing investigators to sift carefully through their testimonies to uncover the truth between the two narratives. Evidence revealed that Marita had not only been present during the murders, but had actively participated, especially during the murder of Eva. According to forensic reconstructions and testimonies, Johan had ordered Marita to assist him in controlling Eva during the struggle at the cemetery. In one account, Johan instructed Marita to step on the shotgun to help pry it from Eva's hands, after which he fired the fatal shot. Though Marita did not physically pull the trigger, her compliance and presence at all three murders undermined her initial claim of being a passive bystander. As the investigation progressed and the case moved toward trial, Sweden watched closely. The legal system would soon be tested, not just how it handled Johan and Marita, but in how it reconciled justice with trauma and whether it could bring a measure of peace to a family and a village broken by violence. The legal proceedings that followed were as complex as they were emotionally charged. Due to differing degrees of involvement and legal classifications of their actions, the case against Johan and Marita was divided into two separate trials. Both proceedings took place in Sweden, but the judicial system handled each with distinct consideration based on the evidence and testimonies presented. Johan's trial was held in Åmsele District Court beginning several months after his arrest. Security was tight throughout the process due to the notoriety of the case and the emotional intensity surrounding it. During his trial, prosecutors presented a straightforward case. The murders were not impulsive, but deliberate acts carried out to silence witnesses. The defense attempted to soften Johan's responsibility by highlighting his troubled past, years of petty crime, unstable relationships, and volatile personality. But psychiatric evaluations ordered by the court were decisive. Forensic psychiatrists concluded that Johan, though antisocial and prone to violence, was not suffering from any mental illness that could diminish his accountability. He was fully competent to stand trial and understood the nature of his actions. Motive remained a key issue. Prosecutors argued the murder stemmed from a calculated decision to eliminate witnesses after a failed bicycle theft, with Eva's murder seen as an attempt to prevent identification. The court agreed, describing the violence as both cold-blooded and completely unnecessary. The court found Johan guilty of 3 counts of murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and permanently banned from returning to Sweden after serving his term. Marita was tied separately and facing significantly lesser charges. She was charged not with murder, but with accessory to assault, a legal distinction that would go on to provoke both public outrage and legal debate. The prosecution's case against Marita centered on her involvement during the critical moments of the murder, particularly the murder of Eva. Witness statements, forensic analysis, and Johan's own account revealed that Marita had handed Johan the gun during the confrontations with Sten and Frederick. Most notably, during Eva's struggle to disarm Johan, he allegedly ordered Marita to step on the shotgun to help him regain control of the weapon. Despite this level of involvement, the court ultimately concluded that Marita did not play a decisive role in the actual murders. Her defense argued that she acted under emotional duress, influenced by Johan's dominant and violent personality, and that she did not have the capacity, either emotional or psychologically, to intervene or escape the situation. The court accepted the narrative that Marita was complicit, but only to the extent of assisting in an assault, not in the intent to kill. Marita was then sentenced to 2 years in prison for accessory to assault, with the court emphasizing that her actions did not meet the legal threshold for accessory to murder. She served her sentence in Finland under a transfer agreement between the 2 countries. The legal outcome provoked widespread debate across Sweden and Finland. While few questioned Johan's life sentence, many felt that Marita's 2-year prison term did not reflect the severity of her actions or the moral weight of her presence during the murders. Many experts argued that the distinction between accessory to assault and accessory to murder was not only legally flawed, but ethically indefensible. Marita's actions directly enabled the killings, and that a charge of accessory to murder was both warranted and just. However, some of the public sentiment was also somewhat divided. Some felt sympathy for Marita, portraying her as a manipulated young woman caught in the thrall of a violent and controlling man. Others saw her as a willing accomplice who had escaped justice through legal technicalities. The case became a national conversation on guilt, complicity, and the limits of legal responsibility. Shortly after Marita's conviction, she was released from custody. Although she had been sentenced to 2 years in prisons, most of her sentence had already been served during the pre-trial detention period. Following her release, she returned to Finland and faded from public view, with limited information about her later life ever made public. Johan, meanwhile, began serving his life sentence in Sweden, but was eventually transferred to Finnish prison. In Finland, Johan made multiple escape attempts that reignited public anxiety, and over the years, he became known as a serial escapee. His most widely publicized escape occurred in 2002 when he managed to flee the Finnish prison and cross into Sweden through Haparanda, a border town in the north. The escape triggered a major manhunt across northern Sweden. Police warned the public to stay alert. After days of pursuit, authorities caught up with him near Piteå, where he was apprehended following a high-speed car chase. The spectacle of his arrest was broadcasted across national news. In 2008, Johan was granted clemency by Finnish authorities and released from prison after serving approximately 20 years. His release sparked renewed controversy and public debate in both Sweden and Finland. Johan changed his name several times after his release and attempted to distance himself from his past. In the years that followed, the legal handling of the Åmsele murders would be studied in law schools, debated in political forums, and cited in discussions on criminal justice reform. But the families of the victims, no legal outcome could erase the pain or restore the lives that were lost on that summer night in 1988.
So, again,
I said it like that.
before
Like,
I don't know. Before we start with the discussion, I just feel like unclarity again. So obviously, when they were struggling, when Eva, okay, it was struggling. Yeah, I noticed. When they were struggling and fighting, they probably fell down to the ground as they were trying to, like, they tumbled around on the ground, and that's how she was able to, like, Marita was able to stomp on the gun to kind of take it away from the grip of Eva. So I feel like I didn't really specify that too well. It just escalated. It did escalate very quickly. But I just wanted to clarify that. So, as you probably...
Before we jump in, I want to say this so badly. This, and I'm not referring to the, obviously not the victim's family. I'm referring to the Johan who committed the murders. He's a moron, bro. Like, it was such, I get that he has antisocial personality, whatever. It's like, over a bike? What did you think was going to happen? You was already on the run, and then he brought so much attention to himself over bicycles?
I think just his mental state in general was just very, to me, it just sounds like he was very aggressive, and he was used to being aggressive, and he did a lot of, like, he did a lot of thefts and crimes, and he probably did shoot people. I don't think he cared. I think he just didn't want to have any witnesses and deal with it.
Which, I get that. It's just...
But it is a very huge escalation. There was no motive or nothing. He just was like, I don't want to deal with this. Death.
Right. And then I'm like, now you made the situation far worse for yourself versus either, let's say even he just knocked them out and just left them in the cemetery. He would have got lesser charges. It would, like, and even then, they probably wouldn't have put as much effort into finding him because it was only an assault charge. The second you murder someone, you just amped up the case by 10, and now they're looking for you. And I'm like, you're the reason why you got caught, because you were so impulsive. Maybe he thought
that I have to kill because they were two against him, and then passive Marita or what?
One of them was a child. One was a man, one was a child.
He was an athletic child. He liked soccer and, all that.
He's not going to be, I'm saying, like, in terms of, on average, a 15-year-old is not going to be as strong as a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. So that's what I mean. Like,
I don't even know how old Johan was. How old was he? 20?
He still was an adult, and he was an adult with a gun. So it doesn't matter the power dynamic. He had the advantage, so it was just like, he just made the situation worse for himself by being so impulsive. And then now that's the mechanism in which he got himself caught, because he couldn't control himself. But that's just me. I'm just saying, I think he was really stupid. But
I just also agree with you that it felt it's such a huge escalation. Usually people who are stealing, they like to, they prefer not to kill, because obviously it's going to be, usually they can hurt, but not kill. They usually don't like it. So that's why it was very like, whoa, very escalation here. And I understand what you mean, but, I think he probably just felt like he had to, because there was no other way. He was already running away from multiple other charges. So maybe he felt like there's no other, like it doesn't matter anymore or something.
At least from what I understood, none of them were murder charges previously.
Not what I could find. It did only sound like it was like regular theft, but he was stealing the gun. It was a stolen gun from another robbery, but it didn't seem like he killed anybody there. So that's why I was just like,
even
maybe,
when he got,
I don't know.
Because even when he got caught and then they extradited him to Finland, he was only serving time for the murders. I'm like, that he committed in Sweden. So I was like, so clearly he didn't have any other charges that were worth serving. So I'm like, armed robbery, okay, cool. Like, I have a gun, give me what you have. He didn't kill anybody, which means he only killed his family. It seems like he only killed his family over bicycles, not even money, not even like millions of dollars, bicycles.
Yeah. I have no idea why he thought it was that he had to do it. I just assume, like, I don't know. I thought that was very strange too. It was like a huge escalation. So I agree with you. I think that was very sudden. But something that also I thought was very, I guess, strange was the sentence. I thought that his sentence was like understandable.
Right.
But Marita's sentence was a bit different in a way where it's like she was participating even though they can't prove that she intended for the murders to happen or not. I still feel like 2 years, and it was less than 2 years, was a little, like, it was too little, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And legally, I get it. I get why they had to do accessory to assault and not accessory to murder. I get that. I just feel like, I don't know. It just felt like it was a little bit too easy. Because she was actively, if you think about it, she was actively helping to partially stop Eva having the chance to survive by stepping on the gun. And also, even though, like, I feel that like she had too much involvement for it to be accessory to assault.
I will say this, because this is the issue we have currently, at least over here in our legal system, right? So we have like this huge disparity when it comes to sentencing, because in our legal system, even if a woman and man were to commit the same crime, exactly the same crime, women typically get a lesser sentence, right? But that comes with like there's a whole deep dive thing you can get into it, how like women are not deemed as threatening as men. So often their charges will guaranteed be lesser because they're not seen. It's the way that the society perceives them. So it's, I don't know. I guess that's probably what the issue is with this one.
They did say that. Like, a lot of people was like, oh, but she's so passive. She's just a bystander. She was just swayed by his dominance and aggressive nature.
Yeah.
And like, to some degree, I get it. She could have been scared. She could have been like, she didn't know what to do. But also, she was there for every theft. Like, everything. Since like they were running away from all of it together.
Yeah, because often society views women as a whole more as victims than people who can actively, be a part of crime, be perpetrators. So even when like there was cases over here involving, like, let's say like drug rings or even sex trafficking, often they'll think, oh no, the women, obviously this doesn't apply to every woman involved in these crimes, but there'll be cases where the women are completely complicit. And then even on top of the complicity, people will still deem them as victims almost. It's like society only views women as victims. They don't view them as capable of being just as heartless or just as, cold-blooded. So in this case, they mentioned it, during
if it's
during
not
trial,
very obvious, like there are
if it's
cases
not clear
where,
as
like,
day, cut dry that she did it, like if she wasn't holding the gun herself, they took the route they took, which is simply she must have been a victim. And that's the really crazy part about it, because like you said, she was involved with every robbery. She was there pretty much the entire time. So clearly she was complicit.
I feel a little bit torn at the same time, because like maybe she was scared, but also I feel like there were multiple chances for her to leave him. But maybe she was scared that he would kill her, because obviously he was not feeling anything killing the family for bikes. So like, I get why people think that way. Okay, tell us.
Because think about it like this, like in this situation specifically, let's say she was scared in every situation she was in, right? But let's say in this scenario, right, there was a father and a son. They were they had him outnumbered in terms of the amount of people there. If she really wanted to take an opportunity to, let's say, escape, she would have helped them. Remember, there's power in numbers. So because he wouldn't even be expecting her to go against him, that would have been the determining factor that actually could have helped them survive. They would have more likely been able to walk out of the situation alive and then contacted the police. But to your point, it's the fact that
I agree with
in
you
every
on that
situation
one.
she
because
never
she did give
took
the
an
gun
opportunity.
to
She gave it to
Johan,
him.
so
when
that
she
he
could have just gave it to somebody. She could have shot him herself, or
but
gave the gun to the other
it's
two.
because she didn't think that, okay, he's gonna shoot them. Like, maybe she was just like, he's gonna threaten them and then we can run away. Like, maybe it's so many things, it's so many maybes. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit, I feel like the sentence was a bit too lenient, but at the same time I can understand the defense and what other people thought of that about it. So I'm just like torn between these two kind of like arguments.
See, but I'll tell you something that's very interesting. This is actually getting far deeper but this is actually relevant to the case. This is what makes this case probably something that was really talked about with a lot of people. You see how even as you're trying to say like, oh, it's possible she could have been complicit, but what if naturally most people, myself included, have gender bias.
What's if
they have gender bias. So gender bias, people off rip will perceive men as aggressive. How many times have we seen cold cases, or not cold cases. How many times have we seen cases where, a man was accused of committing a crime and then it comes out that he didn't do it later, but people believe it just because he's a man. And all of us, every single one of us, but because of how society is set up.
You can also say the opposite, because I feel like the same thing can be like, oh, nobody believes women when they are truly victims.
Absolutely. That's my point.
So that's why I'm like, that's why when it comes to this, I understand why they sentenced that way, but I feel like even though she could have been, we say, abused into being emotionally attached to him in a very abusive, toxic way, if we just say that was actually happening, then it shouldn't be an excuse for her to assist him in the murder of the people. So I don't feel like it's okay. I understand, but I don't feel like it's okay that her kind of trauma bonding thing with him is affecting other people's lives and potentially killing them. That's why I feel like the sentence needs a little bit more adjusting, even though legally it was correct.
I mean, I agree. Don't get me wrong, I agree. So, yeah. But it's a very complex issue because, like I said, there's a lot of gender bias. There's a lot of societal expectations. And then, like I said, this applies to both ends of the spectrum. Viewing women as only victims, viewing men as only aggressors. And then it hurts both sides equally in those situations where they're neither the aggressor nor the victim. So, it's one of those situations where it's because of society that probably the sentence did not get more. Because even if they would have they could have gave her legally probably 3 or 4 years, but they didn't. And I'm pretty sure it's because she was a woman, and that's just the reality.
Do you think it was fair?
So, no, of course not.
Oh, really? What would you have? Do you think she deserved accessory to murder? Because that means that she was actually knowing and intending for them to die,
Me personally, I'm pretty sure she's not new to his behavior. Like you said, she's been with him the entire time. And I'm pretty sure, and she didn't even, at least from the details we have, it doesn't seem like she was shocked or, and at no point did she mention, oh, I'm shocked. The only thing she mentioned, at least what we've seen in the case, is that, oh, I was in a situation where I couldn't do anything, but didn't really mention the, oh my God, like this was, he's never done that before, like, because then maybe. But the fact that it was never really brought up kind of implies she's aware of what he's capable of. He may have never done it previously, but I'm pretty sure she was aware. So I at least would have gave her another 2 years on top of that, at least.
But do you think the accessory to assault was fair to give? Or do you feel like it should have been accessory to murder?
Because at least by U.S. standards, and I'm a little different. Maybe I'm a little more aggressive.
I know. You are a little bit aggressive. But I like to hear your opinion.
But at least accessory to assault, I don't think that's the case. She definitely handed him the shotgun. That's accessory to murder. You know, that's like me giving somebody a gun and then they shoot somebody 5 minutes after. I'm an accessory to murder over here. Like, what do you mean? So they technically downgraded her charges just to give her a lesser sentence, at least in my opinion. So I think she definitely should have had more time. And there was too many factors. And be sentenced
to murder, accessory to murder.
Yeah, she should have got more time for sure, because that was a deciding factor. She had choices in that moment and she didn't take it. So that's just me.
What did you think about Johan's like escape attempts? Like, he made multiple ones. I was just like, you need to chill, Johan. Even though it didn't really give him any added years of like reconception of, I can't speak. Any added years of his sentence. It still was just like, why? How was he able to escape multiple times, by the way? And also,
they were so lax. Because you know what the issue is? Because he was in prison in Finland, right? He was in prison in Finland.
He went from Sweden to Finland.
Doesn't Finland have an open prison system? So basically, it's not like here in the U.S. where you're confined. Like, I'm pretty sure in Finland they have an open prison. I don't know when it was implemented, so I might be wrong about this.
What's an open prison? Like, is it? Do you mean
so
like
open prison system is like, it's far less strict than in the U.S. Like, an open prison system is like they can have jobs, they can kind of have a life. You know, they can roam around in, designated areas. You know, they have much more freedom. And the reason that is because it helps them rehabilitate back into society. So that way they're not like over here where when criminals go to jail, they don't know how to function in society anymore. So they're more likely to recommit crimes. So that's what an open prison system is. But I'm pretty sure Finland has an open prison system. I don't know if they had it
in 1988. But I think I think maybe during the time when he was escaping, which was, it was in multiple occasions. Maybe that's when they started.
In 1988. At least from what I see online, it says open prison systems existed in Finland since around the 1930s.
But I wonder if it was for murderers too. Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was like for smaller
the system
charges.
of open correctional institutions as permanent institutions was more formally established in 1975. So almost 10 years prior to him being... So yeah, they have a more open prison system.
Maybe it wasn't as established with security and stuff like that back then. And now they probably have like more measures for that and stuff.
Well, that's kind of what open prison systems are for. They're
Do
not
they have a little leg thing? What's it called? What's it called in English? Those little leg thing, the antlers, woo. There's like a little ankle alarm thing. I don't know what to call it.
I don't know if they have alarms. That I don't know. But open prison systems are designed to be minimum security. Like, literally.
But how do they know where they are and stuff?
I mean, like I said, the goal is to treat them as human beings, which causes them to be less likely to commit crimes, which overall, like I said, studying this in school, overall, they do have a lower recidivism rate. I think not in the world, but I think they're like top 5, if I remember correctly. That might be different.
I don't mind that system. I just was like, I don't know how it works, and I don't know if they do it for murders, but now you really verified that for me now, so I have to look it up. I actually don't know if how long ago they started and everything, but now I know.
Yeah, so they allow the prisoners to work and study and participate in like community related things, so they don't have to stay in the prison all day, which I was like, how did he escape? But then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Finland probably has an open prison system, and he probably was in a minimum security area and probably was like, oh, I'm gonna go to work, and then stole a car, which is an added charge, which they did not charge him for, by the way. Which
the thing is, listen. When it comes to both in Sweden and Finland, by the way, like they allow to like punish them like administratively. So basically, they don't have any privileges, or they can get higher security. Like they can be placed in a tighter security cell or whatever, but they don't really
unless
add
other crimes
it
are
to
committed. But Grand Theft Auto is a crime. That's my point. A high speed chase is literally negligence. Those are crime statutes. So how did he not get extra time on top of the 20 is beyond me. So
I think they just added this is just an escape attempt, so therefore nothing is going to add anything to the sentence.
That's a crime in itself.
I guess, that's what
there was at least
Swedish
3 crimes
and
committed.
Finnish laws were back then. I don't know if they fixed it though. I don't know if they upgraded the losses then. I thought it was strange too. I was just like, oh, that's very this seems like a very severe escape attempt, but
Yes, 3 separate times, Grand Theft Auto and negligence, because he's speeding through these communities and highways, and he's literally endangering other people's lives. I'm like, that's reckless driving. That's another charge. Like I said, there's at least 3 or 4 charges he committed just escaping 3 separate times. And they didn't add any extra years. It was like, nah. I
don't feel like they changed his lifestyle administratively either. I feel like they just kind of let's just go back to teaching you how to just calm down. I mean, eventually when he was freed, it sounded like he was just living a normal life after that.
That we know of. Remember, he changed his name.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. No.
So, either way, I don't know.
Sorry, this ended up being way too long. Sorry.
Yeah, this was...
We got into a heated discussion there.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about it wasn't just Marita who got the lesser sentence. I'm like, they didn't even add years for the prison escapes and the things he did while he was out. But either way, yeah. Let us know what y'all think, man, because this is an interesting case, because this is out of control in a lot of ways. I feel like, multiple layers, a lot of things going on here, especially involving Marita. But y'all let us know. How do y'all feel about this case? Do y'all feel like Marita should have got a longer sentence? Do you feel like they should have added charges for Johan's release / escape, due to all the multiple crimes he committed while escaping? Y'all let us know. And of course, as usual, we will be ending the episode on a good note, on a positive note, to keep our spirits lifted and talk about really good food. Delila?
I would like to have soup. I would like to have oxtail. I would like to have lobster tail. I would like to have crab. I would like to have seafood boil in general, and some nice freshly baked bread, garlic bread preferably. Maybe some cornbread on the side. I should probably have some salads for this. Yeah, add some salad to that too.
I want to go to a restaurant in Harlem, Ricardo Steakhouse. They have this really good bread that is super good. Texture is amazing. Lovely. Their lamb was pretty good too, so I definitely want some lamb.
Is it a steakhouse or?
It's technically a steakhouse, but they got other things. Yeah, that'd be good. Some curry goat would be fine with some white rice, some rice and pea. That would be fire.
That sounds nice, actually.
Actually, I'm kind of hungry. I know, but I'm just gonna chill there. I'm not gonna be fat today.
It's fine to be not fat, but I mean, you can be fat too. That's fine. But I mean, it's fine to just crave food. Who cares?
Good old big back. But yes. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And like I said, feel free to reach out to us on social media and on YouTube, where we have the video discussions recorded. So you'll see me visibly saying this to the camera to you. And we shall see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.